Okay. Okay, fantastic. Um, okay, we want to welcome everybody to the 2024 Stephen Chandler Ericson Scholarship Foundation presentation. And as I said, Laura Ericson, Stephen's mother, is the reason that we're all here today. She and Dad started this back in 1984. It's just an honor that we are with her today, and it's because of she and Mother and Daddy and Stephen that we're all here today. And on the Zoom, I think we everybody has said hello. We've got Vedant, our recipient this year. We're so delighted. He's going to be going to Georgia Tech University, studying aerospace engineering. How wonderful. It's so exciting. And it's such a pleasure to have his mother and father, his sister, and his grandmother with us. It's just, that's extra special. We've got Kevin Baffa from the Chester County Community Foundation, and the Chester County Community Foundation, Stephen's foundation, is one of many within the Chester County Community Foundation. And we're so delighted to work with Kevin and his whole team. It's just really wonderful to work with them, and they're our partners. And we also have Jeff Bott, and he's right now down at Roslyn Swim Club, but that was Stephen's one of Stephen's best friends. They swam together, and they grew up literally right through our backyard, and right across the street. And Jeff is family, and so we welcome you all. We're so glad you're here. As I mentioned, this started all on a day back in September of 1984, and the scholarship was created to help with a student's first year of college or trade school. And it's really amazing that now, 40 years later, the way that Mother and Dad set this up has stood the test of time. It's really incredible. And we created the foundation in 2010. The goal was, we didn't want, once Mother would pass and Gary and I would pass, we didn't want all the work that Mother and Dad and Stephen had done since 1984 to stop. So we created the foundation within the Chester County Community Foundation to make sure that Mother and Dad and Stephen's work would go on in perpetuity. And we're just delighted that's how it's set up. The last 40 years, in the beginning, it was supported primarily by just, nobody knew that Mother and Dad even had created this. It was really supported by close family members. And then as we took this public, we thought, well, the more people that know, the more people that could contribute. And as a result, the more funds for the student. And the mission really is threefold. With God turning tragedy into triumph, the importance of education, and paying it forward. And it's been tremendous. Only when Stephen was struck by lightning, and when Mother and Dad came home from the hospital, no one can comfort the broken heart of a parent's like God. And it was through the Lord that he touched their hearts and really steered them in the direction of creating the scholarship. And the ripples in the lives that Mother have touched, it's just incredible. Some really interesting and fun facts about Stephen. This will be the 45th scholarship since the summer. This summer will be the 45th. You may be thinking, well, how in the world does that math work if it's the 48th year? In 5 of the years, Mother and Dad gave 2 scholarships a year. So that's how that math works. Stephen's scholarship, again, this is our 40th year. In 1985 through 2012, we worked with the Westchester Christian School, and that's where we all went to school, and that's where Stephen was playing soccer. And then in 2012, we thought, well, we love working with the Christian school, but we thought, wouldn't it be really neat to expand to work in a public school environment where more lives could be touched by this message. And then when we were trying to figure it out, Mother and Daddy and Gary and I sitting around the kitchen table, and we thought, well, which public school, who should we team up with? And then all of a sudden we thought, well, oh my goodness, of course, where Jeff Bott teaches. Jeff's Stephen's best friend. So Henderson, it was just a natural choice. And so we've been working with Henderson since 2012. The scholarships have gone to more than 20 different colleges and universities. 3 of the recipients are business owners, and the majority of recipients make Pennsylvania their lifelong home. So it's very much steeped in tradition. In 2017, we thought, wow, the endowment allows us to give a certain amount every year. And we thought, wow, what if we started doing sponsorships where we could have, a sponsorship program that would add to the amount. And in 2017, we did a $6,000 scholarship. In 2022, it was $10,000. And, the big reveal will come later in the program, but every year it's really built. But starting in 2017, with the sponsorship, we've really started to be able to increase the amounts. And it's just been exciting to watch that grow and the relationships that we've cultivated along the way. As I said, this is a really big year. It's the 40th year that Mother created this. It's the 45th scholarship, and Mother just celebrated her 90th birthday. And so this, my friends, this is what 90 looks like, which is incredible. I know I'm biased, but it's amazing to me. And we are very blessed that that I'll be 62, that I've had her for 62 years. To say I'm blessed is an understatement. So we are going to go ahead and, I want to share screen. But actually, you know what? I'm going to go back a little bit. Mother is going to share the journey. But you know what? Before that, I just want to share some of these beautiful pictures of Stephen. And Mother and Dad. And this is Mother and Dad at their 50th wedding anniversary, Florida, their 45th wedding anniversary, Stephen and Dad down the shore, Mother and Daddy at the pancake breakfast for Rotary. How old was Steve here, Mother? You and Stephen here?
I think he was maybe 9 or 10.
Okay. And this is the kids, like probably 3 and 4.
Yeah.
This was Steve at his 16th birthday party.
Yeah.
This was Steve out in California or Utah when we took a trip across the United States. This was Steve playing soccer. Steve played all sports. And this is Steve with his beloved Kelly. And this is Steve on the Outer Banks in North Carolina,
right,
with Mother's father, our grandfather, Granddad Chandler. And
up in the left corner, who's that?
Yeah, this is Stephen and I.
Mm-hmm.
When it was just the two before Jennifer came along. And thankfully we became a real family with 3 siblings, 3 children, and 2 parents,
Mm-hmm.
and cats and dogs.
Cats
And
dogs.
and here's Stephen's first Christmas with Snoopy.
Mm-hmm.
And this is the soccer team at the Christian school. And this is Stephen. This was his last summer. We're celebrating Grandma's birthday. That's Mother's mother. And
Stephen made the cake.
Stephen made that cake. I didn't know that.
Mm-hmm.
And this is Mother and Stephen, and Mother was pregnant with Jennifer, my sister. So she's there too. We just can't see her yet. And Stephen and Kelly. This is a beautiful picture of Stephen and Kelly with the Dad's telephoto lens. He was standing in the dining room, and that's all the way in the backyard. It's just such a gorgeous shot. And this is Stephen at his desk. And Steve playing baseball.
That was his favorite sport.
And the saxophone. This was at a Christian school presentation. And we are going to stop share and like to turn it over to Mother to just, if you can just share with us how this all began.
Well, when Stephen passed, the pastor and his wife took us to the undertaker, and when we came back, I said I didn't want a lot of flowers because that's just, to me, kind of a waste of money. And the pastor said, well, what is it that you'd like to do? I said, well, instead of people spending money on flowers, maybe they could just send it to the secretary, and we could give whoever you choose that senior year, put it toward the college that they're interested in going to. And so he said, well, what would you like to name it? I said, I guess the Stephen Chandler Ericson Scholarship. And he said, well, how do we, this is the pastor asking my husband and I, how do you, how do we come to a conclusion as to who receives this? I said, well, number one, I said, you know, our son was not an A student. I said he was an average student. So that would be one of the criteria. Give it to an average student. And the next would be someone that certainly is loving the Lord. Thirdly, it would be someone that has participated in music in some form, and the next in sports in some form, and the fifth family oriented, and also very friendly, and the last number 6 was have a good sense of humor, because our son sure had a good sense of humor. He used to tease his sisters all the time.
Yeah.
And his mother.
Yeah.
Not so much his dad, but his mother.
Yeah.
Although his dad called him Ornery Good.
Yeah.
That was his name, Ornery Good. So we received $100 that year. And so that was the first scholarship, $100. So over the years, we have come from $100 to $10,000 last year and the year before. As Cynthia said, it stayed within the Westchester Christian School because that's where all of our kids went. And then Jeff, my adopted son there, he was at our house all the time, or Steve was at his. And I don't know where I was going with this.
Well, I think you were also going to say, did you want to share with them about Stephen's last pair of shoes? This is kind of an interesting story because it kind of goes to the character of Stephen was remarkable. It's interesting that when something happens, it takes really a lifetime to kind of take that in, and we're still learning about him and just the gifts that he had, but he really was an old soul. The maturity that he had was really pretty amazing. It's almost hard to get your head wrapped around, but this is a really beautiful one of so many stories that Mother shared over the years. But I think the last pair of shoes was really a sweet one.
Having 3 children, I never took them all at the same time to get their clothes for school or their shoes for school, especially shoes. Kids are very, very particular about their shoes. So I would take each one separately. So this happened to be the day that Steve and I went to get his school shoes. And we were down at Exton Mall, and we had gotten his shoes. We were coming out the doors into the open part of the mall, and all of a sudden, coming toward us was a father and a small child. And I looked at the child. The child was extremely, extremely disfigured. Well, that was my field, special education. And so the father looked at me and smiled. And I didn't dare look over to see what my son was doing. He was a teenager, had just turned 16, and a typical teenager. And so we went through the doors out into the open part of the mall. When we got out there, Steve turned to me and he said, "Mom, did you see that girl?" And for a split second, my thoughts were, oh, cheese and crackers, what in the world is he going to say? And in the back of my mind, I'm trying to think, okay, he's a teenager, have patience, have patience. So all of a sudden he looked at me and he said, "Didn't she have the most beautiful smile? I hope when other people see her, they only see her smile." Well, that just touched my heart to the point where I grabbed a hold of him and I said, "Oh, Steve, I am so glad I love you and that you're my son." And he looked at me and said, "We're at the mall." And of course, he pushed away from me then. But that was Steve. He always saw the good in people. And I like to remember him as seeing the good in everything. And so these are the characteristics that I have asked people that are responsible for choosing the recipient, that they have some of these characteristics in their character. And hopefully they will continue to feel the same way that they do today. And Steve was not a perfect young man, but he was, as his dad said, ornery good. But he had the best qualities that a young teenager really should have, at least.
Yes, he did. Growing up, I was the oldest and an only child for many years. And though it was lovely to have, in hindsight, have your parents, attention, that it didn't have to be divided, but I couldn't wait. I was always hopeful and praying that I would be fortunate enough to have siblings and a brother and a sister. And we were so fortunate when we really became a family when my brother was born and Jennifer was born. And at night, Steve would always come over to my room. We would, everybody, it was time for bed, and he would always come over and sit on my bed, and we would talk at night, most every night, and just about the day or, whatever was going on. And then he would do the same with my sister. And we were really a family within the family. And, we're so fortunate to have him. I think, Mother, you always felt another thing, just kind of going back in time. Mother felt that, and I think it's quite true. He knew that he wasn't going to live a long time. He had a feeling. And Mother, can you share about when he said goodbye to Grandma?
Oh, well,
And you only you really only put these things together, of course, in hindsight,
right.
you know. I mean, not that he, but when she shares things, it's like he just in his heart knew. He didn't maybe know what he knew, but he knew that he wasn't going to be around to do maybe the things that most teenagers get to do. So,
Well, one thing that when he was 16, the day he was 16, his dad and I gave him a big birthday party. And we called it the Ericson Olympics, because the Olympics had just been on. And so we had our whole property set up to do Olympic stuff. And that night after the party, I said, well, Steve, I guess tomorrow you want me to go and get your learner's permit. He said, Mom, I'll never drive. I said, what do you mean you'll never drive? And he had been practicing in our driveway, taking it up to the end of the driveway and back again, the car. I said, what do you mean? He said, never mind. I know I'll just never drive, so don't worry about it. Well, I went to bed that night and I said to my husband, guess what Steve just told me? And he said, oh, that's just kid talk. So anyway, a couple of days later, why it was time for us to go take my mother home, because my father had just passed, and she came and stayed with us every once in a while. And so it was time to take my mother home. And so anyway, two kids got out of the car and we went in and visited with my mother when I took her home. Well, then we all came back out, and my mother stayed, of course, and got in the car. I started to pull out of the driveway, and Steve said, oh, Mom, wait a minute. I have to go. I have to go back in. I thought, oh, he left a book or something in there. So anyway, he went in, came back out, and we got in the car and we went home. Well, it wasn't long after that when Steve had this accident and passed. I said to my mother, many, many weeks later, I said, Mother, why did Steve come in? What was it that he had left at your house? She said, Laura, he didn't leave anything. She said, it was the weirdest thing. She said, he knocked on the door. I opened the door and said, oh, what did you forget, Steve? Steve said, Grandma, I didn't forget anything. I just had to give you one more hug and kiss and see your face again. And that was it. Putting a lot of these little things together afterward is why we thought, did he really know something that we didn't know? Was there some kind of a message that the Lord had given to him, that he was not going to be around to drive or to see his grandmother again, which actually that happened. That was the last he saw my mother. And there were just many things.
yeah.
Like the day that he went to play, he was playing soccer for Westchester Christian School. That morning, I always went to the games. That morning, I came down with a very bad sore throat. And he came over to me and he said, I don't want you to come to the game today. I said, well, I'll feel better and I'll be there. No, Mom, I don't want you to come. It's important to me for you not to be there. And sure enough, I wasn't, because I had a temperature. And I just, I thought, well, Steve knows that I'm always at all the games. I won't go today.
You were shielded from that.
And I was shielded.
Experiencing that.
Yes. So putting all
Yeah.
these together
Yeah.
makes you wonder.
Yeah.
But we were so very fortunate for 16 years to have him in our life.
Yeah.
And I do firmly believe that the Lord gives us a lot of trials and tribulations that we don't know at the time what the outcome is, but you're the outcome.
Yeah.
You're the recipient
Yeah.
of all of Stephen's days and that were numbered here on earth, because if he had he have lived, there certainly would not be a scholarship. But the fact that he passed, this was the only way that my husband and I could think of for his legacy kind of to carry on. And it's been 40 years since he passed. And as Cynthia said, you are the 45th recipient. Every time a recipient goes to college, university, or trade school, I feel a little bit as Steve goes along.
Yeah.
Also,
in fact,
he is the most educated person I know.
In fact, talking about paying it forward, one of the mission statement, the first recipient, his name was Lee Johnston Jr. And when his name was announced, I've interviewed a lot of the recipients, certainly the younger ones along the way, the early recipients, just to kind of research and see where were they now. And Lee shared with me that when his name was called, he was just stunned. And as he was walking, sitting in the pew and then walking to get the certificate, he thought in his heart, he said, if I ever make something of myself, I want to be able to give back and give a scholarship to another young person. And he has two scholarships. He has his family have done. And it's interesting how just the paying it forward concept, the ripple effect is amazing, really. And I think I want to go ahead and stop sharing screen for a moment, or sharing screen rather. And there's so many people, and this is, of course, pictures of Steve. Let's see, here we go. And a lot of people went into making this, what it is today. In fact, before we go through the sponsors, and I will stop share, would you like to reveal the amount to Vedant?
Well, what I would like to do now is to find out from Vedant. I'm sorry, Vedant?
Yeah. And you can unmute, yeah.
I would like to know a little bit about you, what you like, what you don't like, how you feel that now that you know that it's been revealed, some of the qualifications that I had, my husband and I, and by the way, my husband and I, if he were still here with me, he passed 10 years ago, we would be celebrating in August our 70th anniversary, wedding anniversary. So it's a big year. 40th for Steve, 90 for me, and 70 for my husband and I. But anyway, I want to know more about you. You've heard about Steve, and it's obvious you can see who I am, a blithering, crying person. But after all these years, I still miss my son. But anyway, you tell me a little bit about you and how you felt when you heard your name.
And then we'll have Vedant read his testimonial. In fact, let's go to that. Well, you know what? You just tell us a little bit about you, Vedant, and then we'll do the actual testimonial in a little bit.
Okay. So I heard some of the qualities that Mrs. Ericson was talking about. So I definitely enjoy playing music. I play the viola. I just started learning how to play the bansuri, which is an Indian traditional flute, a year and a half ago. So I'm really excited.
What's the name of that again?
It's the bansuri, so BANSURI.
Okay.
And it's made of bamboo and it has 6 holes. So me and my dad actually started learning that together. And I continued for a year and a half. So I'm really excited about that. Also, this year I started singing in school, which was really fun. I was able to attend some like district and regional festivals, which was
Mhm.
really fun. And of course, I've been swimming with Coach Bot for the past 4 years and also swimming on a club team for about 12 years now. So I'm really excited to push that forward and continue that in college too.
Good.
So
What your major? What drew you to engineering?
So I knew I was gonna go in engineering because I really like math and physics. But I specifically chose aerospace, not because like I wanted to build machines, but because I want to reduce pollution that vehicles cause. So in India, there's a lot of vehicle pollution, like 30% of the air pollution is caused by vehicles. And we used to go there every single summer. So because of that, when the forest fires spread to around our area, my whole team was like being affected by all the smoke and like smog in the air, but I wasn't really affected. So it drove me to think why am I not being affected? What made me adapt to this? So that's what brought me to my summers in Mumbai, where I realized that, oh, because I've been spending all my summers there, I've kind of adapted to that environment. And I realized that people who live in Mumbai year round are breathing that air for their entire lives.
Yeah.
So I wanted to make that effect and change how much pollution can actually affect someone. So I want to go into aerospace because reducing carbon emissions and reducing pollution that's caused by vehicles falls under aerospace engineering. So that's what drove me to pick aerospace.
That is exciting. So could you go ahead and do the big reveal, because then we want to show a couple other slides, but I don't want to do that before you do your
Okay.
part.
Well, this year you've hit the jackpot. As I said, the last 2 years it's been 10,000. This year it's up to 14,000.
Oh my God.
So I don't know what the college or university
That
what
should
their-
help with your first semester, we
Yeah,
hope.
I hope so.
How much does it cost? How much is your first semester?
So I think with housing and rooming and everything, it's around 50,000 a year. So I think semester would be 25,000. So
Okay.
that's
Well, this should help lighten that load a little bit.
Absolutely. I hope that's
So,
all right.
Congratulations. And you are our highest to
Thank you so
date. So
much.
You are,
congratulations.
yes,
so
you
much.
are. How about that, Jeff?
14,000. I know Steve is very, very excited.
Yes.
So he is paying it forward all the way from his heavenly address. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to share screen and go to Vedant's testimonial. So we are going to just give me one moment. Okay. And I'm going to go to the testimonial, and then we'll go back through our sponsors. Okay. So Vedant, if you can go ahead, this is Vedant's testimonial. And if you would go ahead and read that for us.
Of course. So when I first received this award or scholarship during graduation, I was kind of in disbelief and shock. I wasn't expecting to receive any scholarships at graduation, since I'd already received the ones that I'd applied for in prior months. I really thought it was a mistake. Then I researched, I saw the papers that were given to me during graduation, and I actually spoke with Mrs. Cynthia about the Ericson Family Foundation, and I started to learn why I was selected, and I really couldn't be more grateful. First, I'd like to thank the teachers who nominated me for this award, and without all of you, this definitely would not be possible. So because I'm attending Georgia Tech next year to study aerospace engineering, my tuition is going to be pretty expensive, especially as an out-of-state student. The 2024 Stephen Chandler Ericson Scholarship will help me pay for my tuition and complete my studies in pollution to help better our planet, and specifically vehicular pollution. I'm extremely grateful to the Stephen Chandler Ericson Foundation, their sponsors, and especially Mrs. Laura Ericson for giving me the scholarship and explaining the story of her son, Stephen Chandler Ericson. He was and still is an inspiration to so many and me for his amazing heart and his vibrant and friendly personality. Stephen's story has inspired me to persevere in my studies and continue my passion for the things I enjoy, like swimming and music. It made me realize that you should never take things for granted and always cherish the opportunities that you're given. I promise to use this money to better our world and make it so that more people have the chance to follow their dreams and pursue their passions. And thank you once again for everyone who made it possible for me to receive this award today. Thank you so much.
Congratulations, Vinay. That's a beautiful testimonial.
That
too.
is
That's
very,
really, really, really nice. That is really beautiful. We are going to, let's see. Yeah, I'm going to stop share. And what at this time, what we want to do is we want to walk everybody through the sponsors that helped get us to where we are today. So we are going to share screen. And there we go.
There's a smile.
Yeah, there's a story.
it's a very nice
Yes,
picture.
it is. We're going to go up to, okay. This is our eternal sponsor. This is Dr. Ralph and Pat Passanelli. They have both passed now. They are our godparents. We were their rent-a-kids. We are their rent-a-kids. And this is mother and daddy's lifelong friends since childhood. And ever since Steve's accident, they have been helping contribute to this. This was way before, you know, anybody outside the family knew about mother and dad's scholarship for Steve. And so they are our eternal sponsors. We've got a couple anonymous donors that we know who they are, but they prefer to kind of stay under the radar. But this is somebody that's like family. They've been with our family since we were all children. And this year I'm a Rotarian. I don't know if you all know what Rotary is, but Rotary, the way I love to describe it is the Rotarians are just all about giving back to their community. And the wonderful thing about the world of Rotary is the diversity of the clubs. Any club you join, it's a melting pot, a beautiful melting pot of age, professions, faiths, their view on life. Just any way that people can be different. That's one of the beauties of Rotary, is that it's a beautiful combination of people from all different parts of life. And my Rotary Club is the Greater Westchester Sunrise Rotary Club. I've been in it now 20 years. And this year they decided to be one of our diamond sponsors at $1,500. So we're delighted that they were one of our donors this year, our sponsors. This is Ron Delavecchia, Riley Smith and Boyd Funeral Home. Ron has become a friend of the family, and they've been taking care of our family for many years. And they have been a platinum sponsor for many years. I think that Ron actually started in 2017 when we started the program. So he has been a platinum donor since that time, and it's just wonderful. We have some folks that have just been with us from the start. Another lifelong friend of mother and daddy, Buzzy and Teresa Gospoderic. You met Teresa when you were just what?
Early teens,
Yeah,
7th grade.
yeah, and they are still among the living. We are delighted to say, and they've been a platinum sponsor for many years. And again, those threads, those ties, you know, you'd be surprised, you know, from your life, the ties that stay with you. And this is certainly, you know, at 90 years old, she's been friends with Teresa for 85 years. Carol Halabian, a dear friend of ours, Michael Halabian, has been one of those long-term donors. And his sister started donating a couple years ago at the $1,000 level. And she lives in New York and was just when she started to really learn about Steve, we were so excited that she wanted to become one of our donors. So this is now her second year at the platinum level. This is exciting. This is Steyr Propane, and Mother, you grew up with the owners,
Both of them.
Walt and
That's-
Sarah,
Yeah.
right? And Carol's their daughter, I believe, correct?
Yes.
And so Mother is one of the she works with Steyr Propane for the propane. And a couple years ago, you know, Mother said, well, how can I help you, as we're in the fundraising season, which is the January through, you know, May, April is really when we're doing our fundraising for the sponsorship program. And she said, well, how can I help? And so it was such a delight to sit and kind of brainstorm with Mother. And she's like, wow, we should call Steyr. And it was great. And this is their second year now
Walt and Sarah.
at a platinum sponsor.
We all graduated together.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, this is one of my favorite stories. My amazing husband, who is, well, actually, he's not really quiet. He's an outgoing person, but he's a very humble man. But he's such a great man. And he's an electrical engineer with Lasco. And this is really a beautiful story of Judd Clayton and how he became to become a donor. Would you like to share that?
Yeah, Judd's a fire investigator, and he was looking for basically the manufacturer of this product after it had been burned up in a fire and was actually the cause of the fire. He was trying to help the family and their insurance company, and he came to me and asked me if I could identify it, and I kind of was able to, so I gave him the information that helped them move along with what they needed to do. And he asked if he could help me, you know, what it would cost me. And I said, well, you know, nothing for me, but I said, you know, here, take a look at this, and if you feel like it's something you want to do, you can, you know, donate. He's a really nice guy. He actually lost his son a few years back, and he's been donating ever since we had that discussion.
Yeah, he has been donating for years. And in fact, one year he was saying, he had mentioned that, well, you know, I'm going to retire now. So, you know, I'm not sure if I can continue. And we're like, no problem. You know, we're just thankful that, you know, for the years that you were with us, we're so grateful. And he has never stopped contributing. So he has rolled right into his retirement years and has kept being a sponsor, which what a lovely unexpected joy and gift to Steve that he has maintained being a sponsor. So we're very thankful, and thanks to Gary for all that he does for our family. This is let's see, this is a gold sponsor that also likes to kind of stay anonymous, but they are a really dear friend of Mother, and they've been now a gold sponsor. I think this is their second year, and it's just they're very generous, and we're very delighted to have them with us. Oh, this is another thanks to Mother. Scheller Oil is one of the people that she uses, and she said, you know, how about we call Scheller and see if, you know, let's tell them Steve's story, see if they would like to, you know, become part of the Stephen Chandler Ericson family. And this is their second year being a donor at the gold sponsor at the $500 level. And we're very thankful. So that's Dan and Kate Duffy. They bought Scheller Oil and Duffy Heating and AC. This is extra. They're all extra special. This is near and dear to my heart. They all are. This in particular, Conrad Muley. Conrad Muley, this is the son, Conrad Muley. He's got Terra Technical Services, and he and his wife Missy are and their children, just the loveliest family. His father was one of the founders of my Rotary Club. And his father's name is Conrad Muley, and he was one of the groundbreakers in high-end kitchen and bath. And he had Muley and Company, his kitchen and bath. He did high-end kitchens and bathrooms for many, many years in Westchester and Chester County. And when I started my marketing business, he brought me over, and had me in charge of all the marketing for his company and did so much to elevate me when I was just starting, and had always been a supporter of mine. And Conrad became family to us and a mentor to me, and like a grandfather figure to Gary and I. And we're just so blessed. He actually passed the year that Daddy did, in 2014. And Gary and I had the pleasure, and Mother, of meeting Conrad, his son, and their whole family, all their children. In fact, when they did our kitchen, we then had their whole family over, all their kids and grandkids, for a beautiful meal, to just again thank Conrad for doing our kitchen. And met his children, and one of which, his oldest child, is Conrad, and he became a client of mine. And this is his second year donating to Steve. So it's such a wonderful thing to have him be a part of it. We're very grateful. Oh, this is another Gary story. This is Andrew Thorenson, Oracle Forensics. Gary, can you
Yeah.
share about that?
Andrew's actually from Phoenix, Arizona, in the same situation here. He and I have collaborated on a lot of different things, and every once in a while I was able to help him out, and he couldn't find some things, and I was able to find them for him. And he goes, "I got to put you on my payroll." I said, same thing. I said, "No, but if you're interested, take a look at this." And right away he picked up on it and was a donator. He's a great guy.
Oh my!
He has a great company.
Oh my goodness, what a blessing. So this is his first year with Stephen, and we're just so delighted, because of Gary and Gary's brilliance in engineering, and his philanthropy, and always wanting to help his colleagues, having nothing to do with his job, just he uses his skill to help others. And this is again another beautiful example, thanks to Gary, and thank you, Andrew. Oh, this is sweet. This was Daddy's best friend, Bud Fagan. And he, through Mother, again, here's another Mother blessing. Mother, was told Bud about Steve and the foundation, and he said, "Oh, I'd love to contribute."
Mhm.
And thanks to Mother telling the story, he did. So we were so thankful, and it's just touches your heart. And I know that touches Daddy's heart in heaven to know that his best friend
Yeah.
is contributing. Who would have thought, and then again, that's all because of Mother. Oh, Faye and George Whiteman. Faye and George are, Mr. Whiteman passed the same year Daddy passed in 2014. But Faye is still, with us. And that again is a childhood friend of Mother, one of her best friends.
Mhm.
And she and Mr. Whiteman have contributed over the years. This year she contributed at the $500 level. We were thrilled and delighted. And you've been friends with Faye since
4th grade, and walked to school every single solitary day of our life.
Roslyn Swim Club people too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
That was the Roslyn Swim Club. I was a lifeguard at Roslyn Swim Club.
Mhm.
Yes. Oh, we got to tell the Roslyn story in a minute, but Mother, when Daddy passed, this is another Mother blessing. I don't think she'll mind me sharing it, but Faye made me think of it. This is just, again, shows you the heart of my mother. When Daddy passed, she thought, wow, and then she got to thinking about, Faye lost her husband, all the other ladies that lost their spouses. And she created the Whippet Widow group. And the Whippet is the mascot of Downtown High School, where Mother and all her friends went to school. So she called it the Whippet Widows. And every month since 2014, and the group has gotten smaller for various reasons, but she's been meeting with all these ladies just to cheer each other on, to be a support system, to share and to talk, and to just help each other navigate through this loss and adapt. And but she's created it, started it, led it, still leads it to this day. And again, another Mother miracle, how she's touching lives. And Faye's one of the members. So that's just, again, another beautiful part of Mother.
Thank you.
Oh, yes. Well, of course. This is, oh my goodness, Dale and Kathy Teeter. Oh, they just make our heart feel so warm. Dale's father, Carl, had Teeter's Garage in Westchester for, I don't know, 60 years,
Mhm.
maybe more. And Dale worked with his father, Carl. And then, and Carl, dad started taking any car issues to Carl in the 60s. And so we all went to Teeter's Garage. I mean, that's the only place you would go.
Right.
Because you knew whatever it was, they were going to tell you what actually needed done, not something you didn't understand, and tell you needed that you didn't. They're full of integrity, brilliant at what they do, and full of integrity. And so when I look at Dale, and my heart fills because their family is so special to us. Carl passed, and then Dale, took over keeping the business going, and then they decided to sell it. And now Dale and Kathy, his wife, they work together in the Jersey Mike's franchise in Kennett Square, and they are just the most lovely people. So shout out to Jersey Mike's. If you're in Kennett Square on Route 1 near Longwood, you got to go to Jersey Mike's. Go to see Dale and Kathy.
Grab
But
a sandwich.
Yep.
they are just the loveliest people, and this is their first year as a gold sponsor. And but they don't come finer than the Teeter family. So if you have a car situation, or well, it used to be Teeter's, but if you have a hunger situation,
Yeah.
go to
Jersey
Jersey Mike's. Okay. Okay. Oh, the Guthries. Lenore and Skip. Skip passed a couple years ago. Lenore is one of the founding members of my Rotary Club, and has become part of our family. And she's become a very dear friend of Mother. She's 92. And our Rotary Club just honored her after 30 years of dedicated service to our club. And she is just a treasure. And she and Mother have become the dearest of friends. And she has been a circle sponsor for years, she and her husband. And they are part of our family, and we feel very blessed to have them in our lives. Eileen is another Rotary person, and the sweetest can be. In fact, she's the one that told me about, we both worked at First National Bank at the time. And she said, "Oh, Sid, you should check out Sunrise Rotary." And they have been donors through the years, and we're so excited that they donated this year in Stephen's circle, and they are just the sweetest. This is neat. This is Brian and Dawn Harding, and they've been a sponsor for years. And this goes back to Roslyn Swim Club. Cole's first goes full circle. Gary and I grew up in Roslyn, 5 houses up from each other since we were babies. Now, he's 8 years older, so he grew up in different classes in school. But the common denominator is Roslyn Swim Club. And Bryant, the Hardings, grew up in Roslyn. They went to Roslyn Swim Club, and we have been friends with the Harding family since I was born. And that's they have 3 children, Jeff and Jenny and Brian. And Brian and Jenny have been donors to Steve for many years. And so when you think about Roslyn Swim Club, in fact, we'll get to it in a minute, but that's one of the ties that's how I got to marry my husband, Gary, has to do with Roslyn Swim Club. But again, another beautiful Roslyn thread. And that is Brian's sister, Jenny. And Jenny and her husband, Mark. And Jenny and I went all through school together, and we're little girls together. And, we have been friends since we've been children. And again, those beautiful Roslyn ties that bind. And this is her father, Jenny and Brian's father, Ken Harding, who, another amazing story. Gary is going to tell you about the story of Mr. Harding.
Yeah, so timing a swim meet there, and I'm one of the timers, and
Down at Roslyn Swim
down at
Club.
Roslyn.
Gary was a lifeguard and lifelong swimmer.
And I'm talking to my buddy next to me. It's like getting late in the year, and I'm going to need to find a job. I'm graduating from school, and I don't have anything set up yet. Well, Mr. Harding was standing right behind me, asked me what I was studying in college. I told him electrical engineering. He goes, well, you can work for me at Lasco Products. So that was my interview process that I had for my lifelong job. I've been at Lasco's this July is my 48th year at Lasco.
It all
So-
started with Mr. Harding
Mhm.
down at Roslyn Swim Club.
So that was my job application
Yeah.
that I submitted that day.
And Mr. Harding, of course,
He was the engineering
all-
director.
yeah, we've all stayed in touch, and Mr. Harding happened to be talking, we were talking to him one day, and he's like, oh, I'd love to contribute to Stephen. And oh my goodness, it was just, what a blessing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What a blessing. This is Harvey McClure has been a dear friend. He has done probably every carpet in Mother's house and ours.
Mhm.
He's
At least once or twice.
yeah, at least once or twice over. He's
That's
a
for
wonderful
sure.
man, M&M Fashions. He does flooring, any type of flooring you need. Harvey's your guy. And this is, I think, his second or third year being a Stephen Circle sponsor. And he's just a wonderful, wonderful gentleman. He and his sister Karen work the business.
Very honest people.
Yeah, they're amazing.
Very honest.
So if you need anything with floors, they are your people.
Call Harvey.
Ram's Diner. If you're a Westchester person, you know Ram's Diner. And Raj, well, anytime we go anywhere with Mother, we feel special because she's the queen, she's the star. A case in point, Raj is the owner of Ram's Diner and a diner in Downingtown, and he just loves Mother. So when we go there with Mother, we feel special too. But this is, I think, his second or third year donating, and he's just a lovely gentleman.
Mhm.
And we just think the world of Raj. But we're excited when we get to go along with Mother, because then we get to feel special too. But it's because of Mother that he is, she spoke with Raj about Steve, and he said, oh, I would love to donate. So we're just very fortunate because of Mother that we have that relationship with Raj. So
Their
go,
food is good.
yeah, so go to Ram's Diner.
Their food is good.
Moyer Pest Control, another Mother blessing. This is, I fondly say, these are the bug people. So the bug guy, but no, they're great people. And, for any type of extermination or any, like if you get annual spraying or whatever you might need in your home. Anyway, these are the folks we use. And again, Mother said, hey, we should call Moyer, maybe they would, they don't know about Steve. If we share the story, maybe they would like to contribute. So sure enough, thanks to Mother, we connected with them, and I think this is their second year, if
Mhm.
I'm not mistaken, being part of Stephen's Circle. So that is really exciting. Again, another Mother blessing. Great Valley Awning, Cecil Bond. Oh my goodness. Again, it all goes back to Mother. For years, Mother was saying, you know what? You really need to get an awning to go over your deck because the sun is so hot that, you really couldn't go out there. She's every year, honey, you need to get the awning. You need, and I'm thinking, we have other things we need to do. In my mind, I'm saying, yeah, we'll get to it. Well, thanks to Mother kind of nudging us, we finally got to it. Maybe I'm going to say 4 years ago. That's basically maybe the timing. And we were so fortunate to work with Cecil, the owner. He's amazing and honest and full of integrity and just great expertise. So thanks to Mother, we did the awning. And of course, it was like a whole new room that we could use because of the awning, and just it's so cozy out there. We love it. So and then Mother decided that she wanted to get an awning, and she got one, and she had such a great experience with Cecil. Again, Mother said, well, why don't we ask Cecil if he would like to contribute? And again, another Mother blessing, and thanks to Mother and the journey of the awning, they're part of Stephen's Circle. This is my family right here. This is my bonus son. Gary has 3 grown children. The amazing part about being married to Gary, being his wife, is that I get to be part of his family. 3 grown children, beautiful Rob in this picture, my daughter-in-law Laura, and their three sons, Brody, who's the oldest, and then Ellis, and our newborn Nolan, he was born a month ago. And we just had a beautiful Father's Day weekend here with them. And Mother was talking to Laura about this upcoming time with you, Vedant, and your family. And, you know, she was just sharing about Steve, and they said, oh my goodness, we want to contribute. So they are now part of Stephen's circle. And isn't that just the most beautiful picture? So again, another Gary blessing is getting to be part of his beautiful family, and I get to be a bonus mom and a grandma, things I never thought would ever be on the radar for me.
And I'm a great grandmother.
And she's a Gigi ma. Yes, she's the beloved Gigi ma. And this is Vedant, of course, and $14,000 aerospace engineering. Pretty amazing. And we did your testimonial. Oh, and thank you, Vedant and family. These pictures are so lovely. I thank you so much for sending these, and they are just beautiful. They are just absolutely beautiful. In fact, I'll be sending you the PowerPoint presentation so you can share that, you know, with other family, you know, please, you can share it. So I'll be sending that to you. But of course I couldn't before because we didn't, you know, Mother had to do the big reveal of the amount, but we just, again, thank you for the beautiful, beautiful pictures of your family. They are just lovely. And we're just thankful for you. Now the nice thing, again, thanks to Mother and Dad, one of the things that they had set this up so beautifully many years ago, as you had heard about setting up the scholarship. And one of the things that has stood the test of time, every way they set it up is fantastic. One of the things that they did very specifically and quite intentionally is they never wanted to be a part of the selection process.
Right.
And it was really wise because they thought they don't ever want to be a position of, you know, playing favorites or somebody thinking that was what occurred. They thought, you know, we don't even want to be a part of that process, which has worked beautifully. So at the Westchester Christian School and at Henderson, the way the selection works is the principal and the students that work with the senior class, they're the ones that make the decision because they know the kids. They know how this should work, and it's really beautiful. Another part, when we created the foundation in 2010 to make sure this would go on in perpetuity, when Gary and I were researching in the research, the Chester County Community Foundation, you know, we looked no further than them. We wanted to make sure we were aligned with an organization that had, you know, full integrity, and we wanted to make sure that there was full transparency, that when people were donating, we wanted people to feel very comfortable that the funds were going to the scholarship, and that it was set up in such a manner that there was never any chance that something could be misappropriated or funds could go to a student where it could have been, you know, squandered. So it was really important to us that we aligned ourselves with the right partner. And of course, the right partner is the Chester County Community Foundation. And I want to share that when Gary and I first started talking about, well, creating a foundation, you know, usually I don't know about you, but when I hear the word foundation, I think, well, that's like very deep pockets to create something like that. And we thought, well, we have a little, you know, kind of a little seedling to start. We had $1,000 to start it with, and we thought, wow, would that even, you know, qualify? Would a foundation even work with us? But lo and behold, the Chester County Foundation, they work with people with all different levels of funding and all different levels of financial situations. So we started with $1,000 and it grew from there. And at this time, I'm going to turn it over to, and I'm going to stop the screen share. We're going to turn it over to Kevin. So Kevin can share with you how we're going to get that $14,000 to the university. So Kevin, would you walk us through that?
Sure. So first of all, I want to thank Cynthia, Laura, Gary again for all their work on this scholarship. Just to give a bit of background, I'm the scholarship administrator at the Community Foundation. We have about 90 scholarship funds now. We give out around 200 awards a year. This one is one of our largest, per, award amounts. And Cynthia works very hard to get that number up. I think my first year here was the first year you started the fundraising, and it's just gone up and up since then. So it's a really, really great thing that they do for the winner of Stephen's scholarship, to honor his memory. So the next step for you is that like you mentioned, at graduation, you received a form, that said, hey, you won this scholarship, and we're not going to tell you how much it is because, since the donors want to let you know themselves. So now that you need to complete that form and mail it back to the community foundation. We do ask for a photo as well, but Cynthia, if you have that photo file,
Yeah, oh,
you can
yes, we'll
send it to
send it to you,
me.
of course.
You can send it to me, and I'll get that up on the webpage, right away. And then once we have your form back to us, I'll put in the check request. That will go out sometime in July. It will go directly to Georgia Tech. Just, I guess, for your planning purposes, by default, schools usually split the award between the 2 semesters. If you want it to all go to the first semester, you can let me know. If you're fine with it being split across the two, then we don't need to do anything. But if you do have a preference, let me know. And then once the money is set out, you'll be all set.
Yeah, it's really wonderful how Kevin and his team, work it. And it's wonderful because again, it goes right to your school. And so you don't have to worry about doing it. They handle all that for you. And again, the nice thing is that the beautiful part is anybody that donates to Steve, there's just the full transparency of where the funds go and how they are transferred to the university. And we feel really great about that because we always wanted people to feel really good if they decide to donate, that they could feel really comfortable. And again, Chester County Community Foundation is their awesome group of people. And just to kind of plant a little seed, if as your life progresses, if you're ever thinking at some point you might want to start, a foundation, that again, the beauty of the Chester County Community Foundation is that you can start with a seedling, or you can team up with other families to create, if you have somebody that you want to honor in memoriam, or you have a cause that's near and dear to your heart. It doesn't have to necessarily be because someone has passed. It's just something that's near and dear to your heart. You can start with a seedling, $1,000, like we did. And, they will help you. They will help, help that grow. And again, it's been a blessing to our family to be able to work with Kevin and the whole Chester County Community Foundation team. They are just remarkable and just lovely. Every person there is so kind and caring. And it's just been a real joy for our family to know that we're aligned with the Chester County Community Foundation. And they have so many different wonderful programs. And mentorship. If you really want to learn about, you're thinking about doing something again in memoriam, or just something that's near and dear to your heart, they'll kind of guide you. Even if it's way into the future, you're thinking about it, they will take that call and talk to you about it, about maybe something that you're thinking about in the future. So, you'll find it's going to be a just real joy for you to work with Kevin and get those funds the way you want them, whether, as he said, whether it's fully into that first semester, or as Kevin said, if it's going to be divided into two. I'll make sure that if you don't already, I'll make sure that you have Kevin's information, should you have questions, anything like that. Kevin, is there any other things that we should share just from a housekeeping perspective for them?
No, that's really it.
Okay.
I mean, if you want to, if you could, I said mail, you could email the form as well if that works easier for you. Um, but otherwise, no, it's we try to keep it as simple as possible. Like I said,
Yeah.
you guys can talk amongst yourselves about whether you want the money all in the first semester, or spread out. Either way is fine with us. But no, we like I said, we try to keep it simple. You just gotta send us the form, and then we will send the money out.
Thank you, Kevin. And I see that Sue Tiernan,
Thank
my
you, Kevin.
Rotary buddy, jumped on, and I don't know when she joined in our presentation, but I was so happy to see you, Sue. If you could unmute yourself, if you don't mind, Sue. Oh, there you are. Okay. Mother, you remember Sue from
Sure
Rotary.
do.
And
Yeah.
I was Sue at the beginning, and I'm not sure if you heard this part, but I was, as I was walking through the donors and that have contributed, the sponsors, it was really exciting for us that the Sunrise Rotary decided to sponsor this year. It made it extra special. And
Mhm.
Sue is part of
Yeah.
our Rotary Club. And
Thank you.
and actually Sue has played a very, very important role. Our Rotary, our club foundation, they give grants, and there's a whole process that it takes to get a grant to go through. And it was because of Sue Tiernan and her love of what you, Mother and Daddy, did with Steve. She really took the lead and was the facilitator to the Sunrise Foundation board to talk about your work. And she went to so many other people to talk about what you and Dad had done. And, Sue, we just want to again thank you and express our love and gratitude. You just went so above and beyond, and we're just very grateful for all that you did for us this year.
For
Cynthia,
sure.
you are the blessing, you and your family. It is a joy for all of us, I believe, to contribute to the memory of your brother. And seeing Jeff Bott there and understanding the Rosalind connection is a beautiful thing, because it still exists.
Oh, yes.
Jeff has supported my grandson all the way through school and college. So it just warms my heart to be a part of this group. But Cynthia, you are the blessing. I want you to know that. And without you, none of this would have been possible. So my thanks go out to you. And whoever gets this help to complete their education, the blessings that go with you in addition to the money are very powerful. So God bless you.
Thank you,
Thank
Sue.
you.
Thank you so
Thank
much.
you.
When we were talking about Rosalind, and Sue, you mentioned Jeff Bott, what I was saying about Gary, one of the things that I did want to circle back to was, when you think about Rosalind Swim Club and Vita, in your young life at this point, you think about different clubs that you may be aligned with. And it's amazing how the ripple effects really can transform your life. And Gary is an example for me. At Rosalind Swim Club, as I said, there's 8 years difference between us. And he was one of the nicest, me as a child, upon reflection, always nice to us little kids, kind. Everybody loved Gary, the parents, the kids. He was the
Not everybody, but us.
he was the nicest guy.
We did.
No, he's just the nicest person. And as a child growing up, that I remembered that. And then as I grew a little older, I had a mad crush on him as the nicest, handsomest lifeguard. And then going 50 years forward, it was the 50-year reunion, or 50-year reunion celebrating the creation of Rosalind Swim Club. And
Right.
Mother was with her girlfriends doing their little adventure. So I was like, Mom said, I'm on dad duty. So she said, now I want you to make sure Dad gets to this Rosalind reunion. And so I went, and Gary's best friend's mother, Jane Dininger, was at the pool. She took my hand and walked me over to Gary. And it had been, I don't know, 30 years since I had seen Gary. And we looked at each other, and we had lunch 2 weeks later. And 6 months later, we were engaged. And 6 months after that, we were married. And it all started with Gary grew up five houses up as a child since he was a baby. And our families have been intertwined, but had it not been for Roslyn Swim Club, I wouldn't be sitting here with the joy and love in my life of my husband. What a blessing, what a miracle that anybody finds anybody, but what a miracle when you're in midlife. So again, another Roslyn beautiful tie and journey. So
Because when I was swimming 18 and under, she was swimming 10 and under.
Yeah. puts it in a perspective.
So we needed that little year shift.
Yeah. But you know, this is such a special time of year for us, as you can imagine. And last year Mother was in the hospital, so we did the presentation, and you were, of course, it was very strange to do it without you. So we are especially thrilled that you are here to lead us and to make this all happen. And it's a really special day. It's a hard day, but it's a really beautiful
an emotional day
Yes,
for me.
yes. It's for all of us. It's a really special day. You know, when I'm at my desk working on Steve, the foundation work, I have a picture, that picture you saw of Steven at his desk. I have that picture of him working his desk right here at my desk. But the work, the blessing of this, there's so many blessings that Mother and Dad have given, but one of the blessings is that this exists at all, that we get to work on this, because in those moments that I'm sitting here, I feel Daddy, Stephen, and Gary and Mother, and we're all working together, and we're together, you know, and it's just a real blessing that what they created all these years ago, and that it will just keep going. And you know, we're just honored to be here and to get to work with you. And again, this year, as we said, so many relationships that Mother said, oh, you know, we should call this person or that person, you know, the money, the level that we've reached today, you know, all the relationships, you know, that Mother said, oh, you know, we should do this, we should do that. You know, we've reached the heights because of Sue and all the sponsors, you know, that we walked through. All those people play such a role in where, you know, where you are today. So, you know, tuck that close to your heart, and keep Stephen close to your heart.
Jeff, can you unmute?
Unmute. There we go.
Yes, I am unmuted. How are you?
Okay.
Okay. You hanging in?
Of course, yes, I'm hanging in. I'm more composed now.
Okay.
So what do you have to say about all of this and your best friend?
I think one of the things, and I actually have a few of our younger swimmers here standing behind me here. They were in the pavilion here. This is where we are. So they're getting a little bit of a teeny background here. I think it's as obviously, it sparks just great memories of a great friendship, albeit way too short. And, you know, kind of resonates with what is, you know, tried to be an overriding theme here at Roslyn, with lifelong friendships and connections. And as you said, paying it forward. You know, the monetary amount is amazing. That doesn't come easily. Comes with a great deal of effort. But to hear the story and to understand just how deep it runs means so much. And for you, Vedant, I see Shruti there. Also had the chance to coach her, and I know the Bedecker family for a few years here now. This is something that I hope you guys carry forward with you, and take with you as you go on to your life's work. That's the most important thing at the end of the day. So thanks for everybody for, you know, their contributions is what I would like to say, and for, you know, bringing back great memories and allowing us to be a part of it as well. So, no, thank you all. God bless you all.
Isn't there a trophy or something that's given in Stephen's memory
you-
at the
At the
pool?
right, yeah, yes,
That you
yes, we do.
created,
Yes,
Jeff.
we do. And that's another piece of all of this too, that with Stephen's passing, we honor his memory here at Roslyn each year with the Stephen Ericson Memorial Award given for dedication to the team. And that's a real special award. Stephen was somebody that gave so much time to this club, as all the Ericson family did, and had a lot of interest, as most people do at that young tender age. They're trying to go through with sports and different activities, which is all a part of that. But what we remember here at Roslyn is just the level of commitment and the care that he had, not just as a swimmer, but toward other people, and the way he treated other people, and just embrace the friendships that are so critical and such a big part of what growing up at a summer swim club should be. But that's how we honor Stephen here.
Thank
at
you so
Roslyn.
much,
and
Jeff.
and we'll continue to do so.
Yes, and they go
Oh,
on in,
yeah.
perpetuity perhaps, but
Mhm.
one of the things when I think about just the ripple effects, in the long term, the night that Steve passed, Mother used to always write us notes if we were going anywhere, just little notes, I love you, and don't forget to, mind your manners, and all these sweet notes that only a loving mother can do. And the night that Steve passed, she just, nothing was helping her, and she decided she was going to write a letter to Stephen to share what had happened. And it only the Lord can guide a mother's heart to put words together on the very night of her son's passing. The next morning, she shared this unbelievably beautiful letter. We were just stunned that it was so eloquent, and she is a very eloquent woman in terms of her speech and her writing. But in that moment, to be able to lay out
Words.
beautiful thoughts, this letter was unbelievably beautiful, and it went through the family, and as time went on, it ultimately was published into a brochure, and I sent that to the family. But one of the ripple effects of this beautiful letter that all started on one night in September in 1984, written in Stephen's room, that little pamphlet has traveled around the world and has touched so many lives. And it's all because it started with a mother's broken heart, and God just comforting her and guiding her to pour her heart out and turn that tragedy into something of comfort and hope. And only God can do that in a life. And that beautiful track has been around the world and has touched so many lives. And those ripple effects that you have done are going on and will go on forever.
Thank you.
And of course I'm biased, but you are extraordinary. Even with the bias, you are really extraordinary. And it's one of the blessings of working on Steve all these years on this scholarship is learning more about my mother. We are in lockstep with one another. We have been since I was born, and I thought that I knew everything about my mother. But one of the beauties of working on this is I keep learning more about her, more about her heart, more about beautiful stories with Stephen, beautiful stories of just how she managed to navigate through life amid a lot of tragedy. And it's just been an honor and a blessing, and continues to be for me. And so I'm just especially glad that you're leading us this year. And we just pray that you lead us. We'll always be leading us, but we hope that you're leading us in many years to come, just sitting here together,
That would be nice.
sharing Stephen's story. But I just want to thank everybody, that could be here. It's a busy time, and we just thank Vedant and your whole family. Honey, we are so proud of you, and we're happy for you and your journey, and we're so excited that these funds can help you and your family.
Oh my, yes.
And we just really hope that you'll stay in touch with us, and
Please
let
do.
us know how you're doing.
Yes.
We really love it when the recipients, and we reach out to the recipients too, to say, hey, how's it going? But it always touches our heart, when the recipient, as your year unwinds and it unfolds, that you maybe your folks and you guys will reach back and say, oh, hey, this is what I did this semester, and this is how it's going. You'd be amazed at how just those little nuggets of communication, how it warms our heart.
Oh my, yes.
And just lets us know you're doing well, and it's going okay. It's just really special. And we just thank all of you for joining us today, and we just thank all our sponsors. That again, it's because of them and their generosity that we're here today. And Ruda in India,
Yes.
we are just so thankful. Vedant, your grandmother, from all the way from India. This is this is the first time on a Zoom that we've gone international.
Right.
That we have had the pleasure of having, you join us all the way from India. We understand it's nighttime there now. But
Getting late for her.
we're just really thankful, to meet you and to see you is really an honor. We're really thankful that to see you and to meet you. And Vishay,
Ask her if she has something to say.
yes, absolutely. Ruta, I know that I understand that you understand English. Ruta, would you like to share anything? And that's okay if you don't, but would you like to share anything? Would love to hear from you if you'd like that. And if you want to unmute.
She may not be able to.
And Vedant's parent, Vishay, how about you all unmute? Everybody unmute. Everybody
Yeah,
unmute.
we are trying to coordinate with her if she can unmute and speak something, but I think she's struggling with the
Unmute.
phone.
Okay, no, it's okay. Oh, no worries, no worries. We just thought if she wanted to say something. But Vishay and your family, would love to hear from you just for a moment. What has today meant to you?
It's definitely special, I would say. I mean, we read a lot online about this award and the scholarship after he received it, because when he received it, none of us had any idea. So we were talking amongst ourselves saying, what exactly is this award? Like, how does it work? And because I had a gut feeling as we were going out from the graduation ceremony, I saw Coach Bott standing there. Okay. And then he graduated Vedant in a special way. I said, wow, why would he do that? And then I said, maybe something related with this award. Remember Coach Bott? We were just handshaking there. So, but yeah, once after listening to all this and hearing and reading all about it, it's definitely an honor to receive this award. No doubt about it. And thanks to mother and her family, I would say, everybody involved. Thanks for the award. Definitely. It will go a long way for Vedant. And I'm sure Vedant will be in touch with all of you.
Yeah.
And definitely will also think of contributing from next year onwards for the award. No doubt. It's worth every penny. No doubt about that.
Thank you so much for sharing. That's great.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's wonderful. Vedant, how have you enjoyed our time this morning?
Of course, I was so all the stories about Stephen and the family were so interesting, and they all help. All the stories actually helped me learn more about Stephen, more about the connections that he made, and just what a wonderful person that he actually was. It's insane, and all of the communication that he was giving you guys before the accident, that really makes me believe more that whatever happened to him, he had this intuition, but it never made him feel down. He was always just a vibrant, always just vibrant. It didn't put a negative effect on him.
One of the things it just brings to mind, Mother, would you share, there's a beautiful story. Stephen's bike was stolen. It was
Mhm.
actually, I think it was down at, was it at
was
Roslyn, the swim club?
Yeah.
Yeah, he had gotten this new bike. Daddy and mother had gotten him a new bike, and he just loved his bike, and it was stolen. And could you share, would you mind sharing? Are you comfortable doing that?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really beautiful. If
Well,
you would share that.
He and his sister both received bicycles after school, after a school year was over, for doing well in school. And until we got the what do you call it? Just to lock it up.
Oh, the lock, yeah.
Yeah, the lock.
Yeah.
Stephen, as I said, Stephen was ornery good. He was not perfect. And he was told not to take the bicycle down to the pool that day until we got the lock. Well, Steve didn't listen, and he took the bike down anyway. But when he came out, the bike was gone. So a neighbor that lived across the street actually saw who took the bicycle. And anyway, it got to the point where the individual that stole the bike was notified by the police and so forth. And so the police came to our house and said, "We have your bicycle, Steve." And so this young man had been apparently under not surveillance, but he had issues. Thank you, honey.
Yeah.
And don't get old, you forget names, you forget things. Anyway, the policeman said, well, Mr. Ericson, if you want to press charges.
Right.
And Steve said, well, what's that? And what does that mean? And the police said, well, because he has a record, he may have to go to juvenile detention or something. Yes. Steve said, I would like to know if my dad could pick him up every Sunday and take him to church with us. And maybe he would find the Lord, and maybe he wouldn't do these things anymore. Well, the policeman put his arm around Steve, and he said, that is the most beautiful thing I have ever heard any young man say. But he said, we can't do that because your dad would be arrested. Steve looked at him and he said, what do you mean my dad would be arrested? My dad wouldn't have done anything but good. And so the policeman said, no, your father would be going against the law. Steve looked at him and he said, you mean it's okay to put a kid in jail, but it's wrong. It's legal to put a kid in jail, but it's wrong for somebody to take him to church. And the policeman said, that's exactly what the law is, Steve. Steve said, well, I don't like that law at all. And the policeman said, well, you keep thinking the way you do think. Because he said, your thinking is right.
But just when you think about the age, the tender age that he was.
I think he was 13.
Yeah, to have that type of heart for the way his mind worked and the thinking of forgiveness and kindness. It was just extraordinary. There was another thing that Mother shared about a young man that used to live in the neighborhood, and there was a tent, and he had one of those little tents, and he ended up, he was in the tent because he was smoking. He was hiding. The parents got him a little tent, and the boy was smoking, and Stephen found out about it, and he said to the little boy, you shouldn't do that. It's bad for you. You should listen to your parents. And the boy there was maybe 4 or 5 years between them. So it was a little kid versus Stephen in his 60s. I guess he was maybe 15 or 16 at the time.
Stephen was, and the kid was about 10
or something. Anyway, so this was close to Steve's accident. And so unbeknownst to anybody, Steve went and tore that tent down. And apparently somebody in the neighborhood, when the parents were like, oh, who tore this tent down? And one of the neighbors had seen that it was Stephen that did that. And then Stephen was punished, but he
Mhm.
never revealed why he did it. He didn't want somebody to know about the boy smoking, because he wanted the boy to stop smoking, but to not get in trouble. He wanted his behavior to change, but without shaming him in front of his parents. So Stephen got in trouble, was grounded by mom and dad for what he had done. And then after the accident and Stephen passed, the boy that was smoking in the tent
Came to me.
went to his parents and said, you know, I know why Steve did it, and this is what I was doing. And then they came to mother and dad.
Yeah.
And it's just all these stories that may seem small, and they are, but it kind of goes to the heart of character of this young boy that was just a teenager, and just these little things that he would be, take the punishment and not explain, because he was protecting that little boy, hoping that this would be that catalyst for change. The character that Stephen would exhibit, it was just, it's pretty extraordinary. And there's so many stories like this. But the thing that's been a beautiful journey with Mother in these last several years is learning so many stories, many of which I had not heard before, and journeys of how she and Dad navigated, and how they, when Steve's accident happened, the doctor came to me because I was the oldest, and they said, I just want you to know, so you're not shocked, that most people divorce when there's a death in the family. I'm only telling you this because you're the oldest. And so, and I, my head was blown already as it was. And I remember just, your head spinning. But they, not only that didn't happen, but it united them and allowed them
Even
to
more
just
so.
work through the loss. And again, turn the loss, the tragedy, into a story of comfort and hope to other families through the Lord. And but it's been a beautiful, tearful journey of working on this with Mother together all these years. It's been a real honor. I see my beautiful friend Jenny.
Hi, Jenny.
Jenny, can you hear me, honey?
Jenny Burke.
Okay, Jenny and I grew up together since babies. Roslyn Swim Club. And this is our Jenny Harding. You notice the last name, Ken Harding, and Brian Harding, and this is Jenny. And again, Jenny and I are the same age, who grew up since being little girls together.
Mhm.
Can we hear your voice, Jenny?
Hello.
I know
I'm
this
so
is
sorry
always
to
a
be-
tier one. It's a gut
So sorry
wrenching,
to
I
be
know.
so late. Oh my gosh. But I was listening some before I put my photo up there.
Yeah, no, I'm
Yeah.
so glad to see you. So glad you could join us. But
Thank
Jenny Harding, again, grew up in Roslyn on Sheridan Drive, and her family, her parents and my parents, just the dearest of friends. And
Absolutely.
and as Gary said, her father hired Gary, and he is with Lasco because of Mr. Harding. And so again, the Roslyn ties last a lifetime for us, and I
Yeah,
hope for
yeah.
you. But it's so nice, Jenny, that you could tune in today. And Jenny and her husband contribute, and her brother Brian, and her father, and just another beautiful journey. Jenny, do you want to share anything about, you and Mark started contributing a couple years ago, and became part of Steve's family. Can you just share just a little bit about what it has meant to you to kind of be in this group with us?
Putting me on the spot. It means a lot.
Oh, just,
I remember. No, I
yeah.
do remember. How old were we when this happened?
Well, we were 21 because we had just, I just
See,
graduated
that blows
college.
me away.
What's that?
That blows me away.
Yeah, because I had just graduated from Widener, just moved
Wow.
back in with mother and daddy, and that was in May, and then his accident was in September. And you had just finished up at Kutztown.
Yeah. And it had a huge impact on me and my parents and our family. And I always thought about it. And I always wondered how you made it through and how you did it. And I see now that doing this great work that you guys do and helping so many people, students, is part of how you make it through. Your faith, your love for one another, your strength, and then giving in this way. And it's just awesome to be your friend and to love your mother. And hi, Gary. And I'm so proud of all of you. It's great. It's awesome work. And it means a lot to me to be, yeah.
You know,
hopping on late.
one of the things, especially when I see Jenny's beautiful face, one of the things that I think about is a couple years ago, mother said, because there are two other little girls that we grew up together. It was Jenny, myself, Maury Jennings, and Kathy Bergall, and all in Roslyn. And we've all stayed connected, but it was so sweet that several years ago, mother said, you know, I'd like to have the girls, and I knew exactly who she meant, Jenny and Maury and Kathy, and over to the house for just togetherness time. And it was just, it's really beautiful because of all the girls, all the other girls, their mothers have passed, and some of them, both parents have passed. So mother having us together at her home was really special. And it's just, and again, that the heart of mother, that she would think to do that.
Yeah.
To make sure
Yeah,
that,
for sure.
that all of you knew she was there for you, and to get us together. And she'd had this little cake made, and, you know, happy birthday to all of us. And, you know, that she would do that. It's just the level of thoughtfulness, knowing that all you and Maury and Kathy, their mothers had passed.
I was
And
their second mother.
And it was a
right?
way of
Yeah,
making sure
yeah,
that you all knew that she was there for you.
Yeah.
And that was, you know, of course, what went into all that. And
Yeah.
so again, just she's you know, incredibly thoughtful and loving, and just one more thing that she would do. And
Yeah.
but I'm so glad that you could be here, because you've you know, it's just, it's family.
Yeah.
Family.
Thank you.
I just want to jump in here. Jenny, I'm Beth Ann McCormick Carosa from Schlegel Swim Club. I swam against you 100 years ago.
Oh my
Oh,
gosh,
my
yes.
word.
Yes.
And I
And
swam
I,
against, and I swam against,
my
I think, your
gosh.
brothers.
Oh my
Yes.
gosh. How
Yes,
funny.
I am a
So
brother. but
how did the
I
meet
have brothers,
go?
but don't hold it against me.
What's that?
I said I think your husband swam against my brothers, but don't hold it against me.
They all beat me, every one of them.
I'm sure you beat me too. But
But
we had
that's
fun.
only because my brother was the swim coach at Schlegel for a while.
Oh, yes, I
Ah.
do remember that. I do remember. He was my
Thank
coach
you.
when I was little. It's funny, I raised my family here at Roslyn since Schlegel has closed, and
Oh, wow.
last probably 20 years, I've been bossing Jeff around down here. So
Wow. Oh my gosh.
oh my
So
goodness,
Well, it's nice to see you. Oh my gosh.
Yeah,
Yeah.
wonderful.
yeah, we're
Yeah.
sitting in the Roslyn Pavilion right now. So
Oh, wow.
we're just wrapped up practice and so on. So it's good to see you, Jen.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you. Oh my gosh.
So
Love
I
it.
think-
Vidon,
Yeah.
Vidon, if you want to unmute, Gary wants to say something. I think.
So if you've learned one thing today, your goals are excellent. I support all your goal to reduce pollution. I think it's a great goal.
Yeah.
You learned one thing today. It's one life can make a difference. And one of the ways you get there is relationships.
Mhm.
So develop those relationships and let them help you achieve your goals.
Caring,
Definitely.
And don't forget the hard work. That comes too. But
have to study.
Yeah, yeah, and yeah, those ties, and nurture them. You know, like they don't just stay. You know, I mean, everybody's busy, but but always
Have
take
to work
time
at it.
to nurture those relationships and the people that are in your life. You know, like Jenny and I, you know, we may not see each other often in the course of a year, but we're connected, we talk, we make sure that we stay connected. And then we see each other, that's like icing on the cake.
Yeah.
But we stay in each other's lives, and we stay current about each other's life, you know, and there's someone that I'm looking into that face and I've known since I was a baby,
Mm-hmm.
you know, and it's just, it's precious. So yeah, Gary, I'm so glad you said that, you know, just those relationships. And as Stevens, you know, we put in Stevens' beautiful, like a little tagline we created for Steven was, you know, one life makes a difference. And
And
that's since 1984.
The kids that grew up in the area, along with the Roslyn Swim Club, they all referred to it as Camelot.
Yeah.
That they grew up in Camelot, and that's really true, because parents, we all got together, we were all friendly. I babysat Jenny when she was little, and
I babysat Jeff.
and yes, and it just, you know, but
Yeah, we all looked after each other.
exactly,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
And I wish the world could come back to that kind of feeling again. Maybe it will, but certainly the young man who's just received this scholarship can help make that happen by carrying it on.
You know, one of the things I just thought of, Vidant, and Sue, you'll appreciate this. You know, in our Rotary Club, and Sue, I don't know what time you jumped on to hear what I said about our club, but
A lot of nice things.
one of the things that our soon to be outgoing president, but Roger Tellefson, and our incoming Nancy Pace Riches, one of their presidential initiatives was to focus on the climate and, you know, the environmental focal point. And it would be neat to have Vidant come and speak at the club, just to since our club was a, you know, grant, you know, the $1,500, it would be really special. And since your whole major is
climate
focused
change.
around pollution and helping that be eradicated, it would be so interesting. That'll be an interesting thing to just have you do a little, you know, that you're a recipient, to thank the club for the contribution and to share with them like what you're doing, because it ties so beautifully into some of our presidential initiatives. Anyway, just a thought. Sue, we'll have to kick that around, but that might be neat for the club, because
No problem. I don't know why you haven't had them all there for breakfast yet anyway, Cynthia. So let's get them lined up for some breakfast.
Okay, we'll do that. So, but
Sounds good.
yeah, we'll have to get you in on the calendar. So
Pre-breakfast.
yeah, so you know, we'll talk after. Now the club meets, now hold on to your hats, at 7 a.m. on a Wednesday. 7 a.m. I know it's crazy, but you can do it.
It's just like
But,
jumping into a
yeah.
cold pool of water.
Yeah.
To practice.
It's goodness gracious, but I'll call and get you on the calendar, but we'll have to talk about when you're back in the air, because I know you're in North Carolina right now, but we'll get you in before then you leave for school. What, you leave for school in August, I'm assuming?
Yeah. I think around August 17th is my move-in date, and
Okay.
then August 15th is when classes
Okay,
start.
so we'll get you on the schedule. But I thought that might be neat, as I'm thinking about it. That might be a real special blessing for the club to see, okay, this is that beautiful face that they are supporting, and a little bit about your story. So we'll do that.
Ruta
No, she's muted.
no, she did unmute though. She knows how to do that now.
Okay, so Ruta, can you unmute? Go ahead and unmute. Mother says you can unmute. So, okay. Can you say hello to us?
Hi.
Hi.
Hey! And then for those that may just have joined, Jenny in particular, Ruta is in India. So she is coming. She's tuning in from India. Ruta, it's a delight and an honor to meet you.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. You're welcome. And we know you must be so proud of all your grandchildren. And of course, the star at the moment is Vedant, but all your children and grandchildren. And we're just really glad to know you. And I know you must be bursting with pride at your whole
Yeah.
family.
So do you have something you'd like to tell us?
Oh, that would do. Thank you
Okay.
very much.
Okay. Okay. That's great.
Thank you
Well,
very much.
yeah, and yeah, thank you. But yeah, Mother noticed that you could unmute, so we just wanted to hear that sweet voice, and we thank you for that.
All the way from India.
All the way from India. This
My
is
word.
yeah. Stephen has gone international. That's pretty neat. But well, I think we are going to come to a close, but we are just grateful for each one of you, and again, all our sponsors and everybody that made today possible. We're just very grateful for everybody that could take the time to tune in. It's extra special
Absolutely.
to see you all. And again, I'll be sending the PowerPoint to you guys, so you have that. And you'll have that kind of to refer to every once in a while. And you can send it, of course, to more family and friends if you like.
Jenny,
So-
thank you for your card.
Yeah, you're muted, Jenny. You can unmute. Yeah, Mother turned 90 on May 31st. And
Yes, happy birthday. You're welcome and happy birthday, I said.
Yeah.
Well, thank you.
yeah, she
I
Congrats.
loved your card.
Yeah,
And the
thank you.
sentiment.
yeah, and this is 90, so I have no words. It's just amazing. Like, this is 90. Like, how could that be? That's amazing, right? We were just at a life celebration from one of her classmates, and there were maybe 3 other people of her class there. I took her and Faye, and then there was 1 or 2 other people from the whole class, and I was watching Mother. I was kind of in the background, just watching her interact, and you know, her vitality and her gait of walking. She is unaided. She's on it. And so it was, everybody ages differently, but it was just really amazing to watch her take that whole day in, and be with the children of the woman that passed, another woman that she had grown up with, and to just talk to them and be able to give comfort to them, and give a perspective that only somebody in this stage of life can give. And it was really beautiful and touching to the family. And again, it was just special to just sit back and witness that, and
It's the Lord's doing.
and
really.
watch her work.
mine.
In fact, there was one person that didn't go back to the fellowship. He's very ill, but he and his wife were able to come to the grave, to the grave,
Cemetery.
the cemetery, and he couldn't go back. But Mother had been praying that he would turn back to the Lord for like 60 years.
Yeah.
And she walked over to the car, and he said, I want you to know that I know where I'm going now when it's my time. And prior to this, didn't really want anything to do with God or anything. And it was just it was such a beautiful moment for him, of course, but that he could share that with Mother. And it was just such a beautiful time. And so it was very special, as she was able to be a comfort to so many on that day.
I was surprised that he knew that it was for 60 years.
Yeah.
When he
but-
told me that,
yeah.
I said, yes, it has been.
Oh my goodness. Well, again, I thank everybody. Again, 45th scholarship, Vedant, we're so proud of you. And as Kevin said, he will be sending you guys will communicate together,
Okay.
so that you can get all those funds from point A to point B. And again, thank you so much. This is a real special year for Steve, and he's paying it forward. So thank you, everybody, and love and blessings,
So
and
much.
have a
Best of
beautiful
luck.
rest of the day.
Thank
Thank
you
you.
all.
Keep
Thank
in
you.
touch.
guys. Congratulations again. See ya.
Bye.
Thank you guys.
Bye now.
Bye-bye.